In this video, we look at the conversion between moles and grams. Moles and grams are both used to record the amount of either a compound or an element in chemistry. The mole of any compound is defined as saying 1 mole of the compound is equal to a mass mR in grams, where mR is the relative molecular mass of that compound. And similarly, for an element, 1 mole of an element is equal to a mass AR in grams, where AR is the relative atomic mass. Taking the inverse of these relationships, 1 gram of a compound will equal an amount in moles given by 1 divided by mR, the relative molecular mass. And similarly, for an element, 1 gram will be equivalent to an amount in moles equal to 1 divided by the relative atomic mass. We can also say that 1 mole is equal to 1,000 millimoles, which is 1 times 10 to the 3 millimoles, and then reversing this relationship, 1 millimole is equal to 10 divided by 1,000 moles, which can be expressed as 1 times 10 to the minus 3 moles. We can now work through the answers to these questions on converting between moles and grams. In the first question, we have to convert moles to grams for an element with a relative atomic mass of 65.4. So we can write, first of all, that 0.0251 moles is actually equal to 0.0251 times 1 mole. And then we know that 1 mole of an element with a relative atomic mass of 65.4 will have a mass of 65.4 grams. So this means that we can replace the quantity 1 mole by a quantity of 65.4 grams. So now we've converted our quantity in moles to a quantity in grams, and we can just calculate the result of the product, giving a value of 1.64 grams. In the next question, for a compound with a relative molecular mass of 106, we have to convert 1.45 grams to moles. And so as before, we know that 1.45 grams is the same as 1.45 times 1 gram. And then instead of 1 gram, we can write the equivalent in moles. So for a compound with a relative molecular mass of 106, 1 gram will be equal to 1 divided by 106 moles. So if we evaluate the division on the right-hand side, we have a value of 0.0137, and this is moles. 1.45 grams will equal 0.0137 moles. We now wish to convert milligrams to millimoles. So we can first of all convert 5.6 milligrams into grams, which would be 5.6 times 10 to the minus 3 grams. But we know for an element with a relative atomic mass of 27, each gram will be equivalent to 1 over the relative atomic mass, 1 over 27 moles. So if we evaluate this right-hand side, we will get to a value of 2.07 times 10 to the minus 4 mole. We then know that a mole is equal to 10 to the 3 millimoles. So we've replaced the mole with 10 to the 3 millimoles. Finally, adding up the powers of 10, minus 4 plus 3 will be 10 to the minus 1. So this will give us equals 2.07 times 10 to the minus 1 millimoles, which equals 0.207 millimoles. For question 4, 0.36 millimoles is initially converted into moles as 0.36 times 10 to the minus 3 moles. And then we can convert moles to grams because we know that 1 mole of a compound with a relative molecular mass of 250 will have a mass of 250 grams. So 1 mole becomes 250 grams for this compound, which then gives a value, multiplying out this expression, of 90 times 10 to the minus 3 grams. And we know that 10 to the minus 3 grams is a milligram. So this is 90 milligrams. In the final question, we have to convert micrograms per centimeter cubes to moles per centimeter cubed. But first of all, we will just concern ourselves with the mass, and so we will convert 200 micrograms, first of all into grams, which will be 200 times 10 to the minus 6 grams, and then for a compound which has got a relative molecular mass of 38.5, we know that 1 gram of this compound will have amount in moles equal to 1 divided by 38.5 moles, which we can then evaluate as 5.19 times 10 to the minus 6 moles. And then, because the volume units are the same on both sides of the equation, we can say that 200 micrograms per centimeter cubed is the same as 5.19 times 10 to the minus 6 moles per centimeter cubed. So that now we have the complete set of answers to the conversion question.